For that carrier update, we'll get one more before we are done here for the day. Right now, we're going to welcome Blythe Brumleve, our social media queen, to the airwaves. And Blythe, thank you for joining us today, as always. More Twitter drama between Elon Musk and Twitter. And my one question today is, can Elon Musk, if he were to own Twitter, would he put himself in Twitter jail?
That's a really good question because I think he might do it periodically, depending on if he has a new product release coming out or if he has maybe some kind of malfunction, like it kind of happened with the rocket the other day. So he might put himself in Twitter jail to sort of alleviate the press or to steer the eye away from some of his failings in other areas. I still think he's, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our generation, but he's definitely made a couple gaps in decision making lately.
Absolutely. And so all joking aside, let's seriously talk about this. Last time we talked about Twitter was that it was reported that he was going to purchase a social media site, and people were kind of up in arms about it, just concerned about what this meant for the freedom of social media, what this meant for a billionaire stepping in. And now there's some drama around the deal actually going through, and we don't know if it's going to happen. What can you tell us about that?
So a lot of things have happened since Elon decided that he essentially kind of woke up one day and said, I want to buy Twitter. And that's essentially what has happened since then has been a series of dramatic events since then. The latest being on Friday, Twitter saying that they are going to actually sue Elon in order to make him purchase Twitter. And so sort of to back it up a little bit, Twitter has had a problem, and really all social media has had a problem with bots and fake accounts. It's sort of a two-pronged approach where you have, people working at in different countries, working at different companies, and essentially what they have is a list of talking points that they want to defend either for their company or their country, or in order to maybe give a competitive advantage to another company. But essentially what it is that they have talking points that they want to argue, and they do this through real accounts, and then they amplify that messaging through bot activity and through bot accounts. And so content moderation has been an insane problem that a lot of companies, social media companies, have had issues with trying to find solutions to get rid of those problems. And so after we've known that this has been an issue on Twitter for a very long time, but Elon is claiming that Twitter was not forthcoming with that information on the amount of bots that are on the platform. Now, Twitter is different than any other platform where they are publicly traded on the stock market. So they have a due diligence to their stockholders in order to tell them how much awareness that they're generating through ad revenue, how much, and that's really the only ad play that they have is through awareness, through ad revenue. And if 25% is estimated, up to 25% of those accounts are bot related, then they haven't been doing, it's not exactly clear on how Twitter is combating that problem because they don't really have a financial incentive to combat the bot issue. Now Elon is saying, well, you didn't disclose this information ahead of time, and so I don't want to pay for this deal anymore, especially now since the announcement of the deal. The Twitter stock price has just crumbled. It's trading around, I think, $25, $26 now. When Elon reportedly was going to buy it, he was offering $46, $47 billion because that's around the share price, or $46 a share was around that price that he was going to buy Twitter. And so it's dropped dramatically in price. So I think this is a larger play to get a cheaper deal on the platform, or it's just a simple case of Elon just doesn't have the money now. He was involving a lot of different outside investors in order to make this deal happen in the first place. He was borrowing against Tesla's stock pricing, and Tesla stock has sort of tanked, as with a lot of stocks, have sort of tanked since this deal was originally announced. So it's a lot of different moving parts. And so it's a lot of finger pointing now. So now you have a situation where the Twitter executives, there's been a little bit of a revolving door. So a lot of the leadership has left. So what is really going to be the future of this social media network that seems to define so much of our news cycle and where news breaks and where news happens? And that remains to be seen. So it was a big word salad out there. So frankly, we just don't know yet. But it looks to be a long court battle that's going to be drawn out for a while.
A long court battle indeed, Blythe. Do you think this is going to be something that kind of rewrites or maybe makes a new chapter in legal workings and potential company purchases and rare occasions?
Well, I think it's just more of an isolated situation where a billionaire woke up one day and decided that he was going to buy a social media platform, one that he happens to really enjoy and one that he happens to be a power user of. You could make an argument that Elon knows Twitter, better than a lot of Twitter employees themselves, and he knows how to make news happen, and he knows how to meme, and that's another culturally important part of marketing. That's sort of a separate issue, but he knows how to tweet, and he does it pretty well. He's pretty funny on the platform, but he's also kind of obnoxious at times too. And so I think that that's just sort of Twitter in a nutshell. So I think this is sort of an isolated case where he woke up one day, decided he wanted to buy Twitter. He, believes in free speech, and that's, he's going to combat the bot problem. Now the bots are the reason that you don't want to combat free speech. So it's kind of a little bit of murky waters right now. Ultimately, I think that this is just a negotiation tactic in order to pay less than what he originally agreed to do, which I think is obviously a play that, a lot of billionaires would take anyways. But then on the flip side, there were a lot of hopes, including myself, that this could be an opportunity to really fix the content moderation problem. And now that looks like less and less of an approach and less of a thing that might result out of this deal. Content moderation is the biggest issue that is facing all social media platforms. And so it's kind of disappointing if this deal doesn't go through. I still kind of hope it does, because even if it is a long, drawn out court battle, it could sort of open up the eyes or the awareness of us to be able to see how these bots are calculated and how Twitter even determines if an account is a bot or a fake account. How do you verify new users? So there's all these, sort of debates that need to happen. And I don't know if we get those debates happening if this deal doesn't go through, or if this court case doesn't go through.
Blythe, I want to kind of stay on the thread of billionaires and what they get out of social media and talk to you about Amazon Prime Day and its relation to TikTok right now. So Amazon Prime Day was yesterday and today. And if you're anything like me, my entire For You page right now is what do you need from Amazon? Hot deals from Amazon Prime, shop through my link, get my commission, right? And all of these content creators, whether shopping hauls or Amazon hauls are your niche or not, they're making commission based off of these links. And now this money is feeding back into Amazon and eventually, back into the pockets of Jeff Bezos by association. Can you talk a little bit about how social media has kind of made this role and made Amazon, Amazon is using social media as this incredible marketing tool by just paying content creators really a small fraction of what they're earning just through commissionable links?
I'm glad you brought up the small commission route, because that has been plaguing sort of the influencer industry for a while. We've seen it in beauty and fashion for a very long time, where a lot of these influencers would get an Amazon account and then they would start promoting a lot of those products and they would get a really great commission fee. But Amazon Associates, which is their influencer program, Amazon Associates is responsible for, developing these different rules and how they're going to pay out commissions. And within the last 2 years, I believe it's within the last 2 years, maybe the last year, that Amazon changed that rule. So what happens is there's a called the cookie, which is a third-party cookie that is placed within your links, that if somebody clicks on it and they buy that product, then you get credit for that sale. But that cookie now expires after 24 hours. So that person has to put that item into their cart and buy it immediately in order for you to even get a commission. So strategy-wise, from an influencer standpoint, you really only want to target those purchases that are impulse buys. And so it's a really sort of fascinating market right now, where if you're going to be an affiliate, the money is not in Amazon really, unless you have a video that goes viral. If you have a video that goes viral, then that on TikTok, where it's much easier to go viral than any of these other platforms. So if you have a video that goes viral, there is a chance for you to make quick money from those affiliate deals. But on the flip side, with a lot of these different influencer platforms, they're going live, and a lot of these live videos and this live shopping isn't necessarily taking off like how TikTok and Amazon have wanted it to take off. Amazon Live in particular is kind of just almost like a fancier home shopping network, but TikTok Live is something that has been put on the back burner now because it failed so miserably over in the UK. Live shopping on TikTok and sort of similar social media apps is thriving over in China, Japan, some of these Asian countries. But here in the West, with the UK and the US, it just hasn't taken off yet. So it's really interesting to see how the influencers are taking the route of promoting different products and which ways that they're promoting them, certainly not on live. They're doing it through trying to get these viral moments on Amazon where you can have these different opportunities in order to make a really small commission. But if that video goes viral, you have that sort of one shot in the pan where you do get a pretty good payout compared to, sort of like the like to know it app where you like a picture and you get a notification of the outfits and you maybe make 12 cents on a purchase. Whereas if you have a video that goes viral on TikTok, then you're going to make considerably more, sometimes thousands of dollars. So it's very significant.
Blythe, this is something that I've been wondering about, and I'm glad you hit on it because I've seen those videos going live on my Amazon app, and I'm like wondering what's going on here. But I'm glad you touched on this subject. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. Where can people tune in for Cyberly?
Every Thursday at 2 p.m., we are back live with a quote unquote, I guess, real show tomorrow for the first time in a couple months. Been playing some on the road series. I'm really excited, though, because I'm doing a deep dive on the top carriers in the country and what their web and social presence looks like. Ooh. One little nugget of information that I think you guys might find interesting is that the top 12 companies that are the top 12 carriers in the U.S. do not have a TikTok account. So I think there's a little bit of learning and a little bit of competitive advantage for some of these smaller companies, some of these smaller carriers in order to, sort of take an advantage with a newer social media platform.
Is that a direct call to JB Hunt? Should we get Shelly Simpson on the phone?
Get her on the phone because we need a JB Hunt TikTok account.
I love it. All right, Blythe, thank you for that. We'll talk to you again soon. It's time now for a check of our top stories up on freightwaves.com.